Hello again, survivors and friends, and thank you for joining me today. Before kicking things off, let's quickly recap what happened last night and go over the plan for the day. After dealing with a few unwanted locals, it was time to get upgrades sorted back at the base. First, I placed down the forge, giving us access to better crafting and resource production. Next, I crafted and placed another 4 farm plots, bringing our total up to 7. Thanks to my living off the land perk, that means we'll be harvesting 14 ears of corn every crop cycle, which should give us a great food supply and another way to make some extra jukes. After that, I finally got round to placing my combining bench and immediately started upgrading everything I could. Better tools now will make a huge difference over the next few days, especially with Horde Night getting closer. So what's the plan for today? First, we're heading straight over to Trader Rep because today should finally be the day he hands over that bike he's been keeping from us. After that, I want to make a trip over to Trader Jen's in the Burnt Forest to see what she's got in stock. Hopefully, she'll have a few useful magazines, books, or tools that we can afford. The final goal for today is to complete a couple tier 2 quests and earn enough dukes to buy some of the magazines we've been saving for. Tomorrow is going to be all about major horde-based construction, so I'm really hoping we can upgrade our tools before then to make gathering resources much faster. With that said, I'll meet you over at Trader Rex. For my first reward, I decided to take the crafting skill bundle. Every magazine helps, and at this stage of the game, I'll take all the progression I can get. And there she is, friends, in all her glory. I knew sooner or later Trader Rep would finally part ways with that bicycle. No more running halfway across the map. From now on, we'll be getting to our quest much faster with plenty of extra storage for all the loot we'll be bringing home. Right, next on the list is to open up the trader route so we can head over and meet Trader Jen and start making our mark in the Burnt Forest. Before we leave though, it's time to buy some of the magazines Rhet's been holding on to for me. First up, I'll grab the Free Tools Digest magazine. With a bit of luck, that should unlock iron tools. Before tomorrow, we'll be able to get gathering resources for the Horde base much quicker. Next, I picked up Scrapping for Fun and Urban Combat Volume 1, adding a couple more useful books to the collection. After grabbing a quick snack, it was finally time to make our journey over to Trader Jen, but not before stopping to loot the supply crate I spotted the other day. I'll catch up with you when we get there, survivors. Right then, let's see what the big bird in the sky has dropped off for us. Not a bad supply drop at all. Inside we have a Forge Ahead magazine, a coffee, some grilled meat, 100 wood block shapes and a magazine bundle. Honestly, that's a fantastic haul and pretty much everything I need at this point in the playthrough. The Forge Ahead magazine gets us one step closer to unlocking better crafting stations. The food and coffee will keep us going on today's adventures. And those wood block shapes will come in handy when we really get stuck into building the Horde base tomorrow. Right then, before we head over to Trader Jen, let's see what the landowners have waiting for us. Hopefully they'll just be a bit generous at the supply drop, although I have a feeling they're going to make us work for it. I'm glad to see you made it here alive, friends. I hope you managed to grab some good loot along the way yourselves. Right then, let's see what the main stash has waiting for us. First up is the shamrock crate. Inside we find a potato, glass jar and some beef rations. Not a bad little start, especially since food is always useful early in the game. Next, I checked the toilet and the cupboard, but unfortunately they only had a few bits and bobs, nothing too exciting there. Moving on to the second shamrock crate, we picked up an egg, another glass jar, 2 more potatoes and a piece of charred meat. It's not exactly jackpot loot, but it's all useful for keeping us fed. Finally, we opened up the leather trunk, and this one definitely made up for the rest of the loot inside. Was another sledgehammer book for the collection, a pocket armor mod, some medical supplies, a pair of new gloves, and a stack of 7.62 rounds. I'll happily take that. Right then, survivors and friends, that wraps things up here. I'll see you over at Trader Jen, and let's hope she's got some good deals waiting for us. Hello Jen, it's nice to see you. So what have you got for me today? Looking through the rewards, I'm going to take the crafting skill bundle. Once again, at this stage of the game, every magazine is valuable, and it's the best way to keep progressing. Next, I sold off all the junk I'd collected to lighten the backpack and build up the stash of dukes. Then it was time to see just how much money I still need for all the books and magazines I've got my eye on. I mean, just take a look at those Tool Digest magazines. I couldn't resist. I grabbed one straight away. 3 Tactical Warfare magazines, 3 Tech Junkie magazines, and 3 Trap magazines. So that's 11 more magazines. Right then, I've worked it out. I still need around 3,300 dukes before the end of day 7 to buy everything else I want. It's a fair bit of money, but I definitely think it's achievable if we keep knocking out quests and looting as much as we can. With that sorted, it's time to grab our first tier 2 quest and get back out there. Let's see what today's raids have in store for us. After looking, I decided to take the Brighton residence. Right then, survivors and friends, I'll meet you over there.
If you finish 2 more jobs this week,
So on my way into town, I decided to loot a few mailboxes in the hope of finding some more magazines. You never know what you're going to get, and every magazine gets us one step closer to unlocking a skill in it. The first mailbox gave us a Forge Ahead magazine. The second mailbox contained an archery book, and believe it or not, it was the exact same one again. After dealing with the local librarian, I searched another mailbox and pulled a Wiring 101 magazine, followed by another Forge Ahead. I'll happily take that. Those are the exact magazines we're looking for. Finally, we found the Great Heist Volume 1, rounding off a very successful mailbox run. Right then DJ, we're close enough now. Play that music. I'll catch up with you at the main stash, survivors. Good luck and try not to get eaten on the way. Dang, my battery's died. Looks like I have to wait until I get back to Trader Jen's and borrow some of her electricity to charge it up. Anyway, after dealing with Bid and Ben the flower potman and grabbing the satchel, it was finally time to check out the main stash. Let's see if all that hard work was worth it and whether this place has been hiding anything good for us. Right then, let's see what the leather trunk has for us. Nice. Inside we find an Art of Mining Volume 2, which is a great addition to the collection. We also picked up a headlight mod, a first aid kit and some machine gun parts, which is perfect because I'm planning to spec into machine guns very soon. And some high-end powered 44 Magnum rounds, which I'll probably just sell as I don't use them yet. Next up is the Cracker Book crate, and inside we found a mod schematic and an armor up magazine. Not a bad haul at all. Every magazine gets us one step closer to unlocking the skills and crafting recipes we need, so I'm definitely not complaining. Overall, another solid raid with some useful progression. Now let's get back to Trader Jen and see what she's got as for us as a reward. Nice to see you made it, survivors. Let's see what Trader Jen has for us this time. Nice, another crafting skill bundle. I really can't complain about that. Every magazine gets us one step closer to unlocking the things we need. After selling off some of the loot from the last raid, I had enough dukes to buy 2 more tools digest. That's another 2 steps closer to unlocking iron tools, and I can't wait because that'll mean gathering resources for the whole place so much quicker. With the shopping done, I picked up my second tier 2 quest of the day, this time at the Philippi residence.
This is dangerous work.
Hopefully, this place has some decent loot and maybe a few more magazines with our name on them. Right then, enough standing around. I'll meet you over at the quest, survivors. Let's see what we can find. Dang it, I nearly beat you here this time. Just you wait until I get my hands on that mini bike. I'll be leaving you right in the dust. Anyway, after Trader Jen kindly let me borrow a bit of her electricity to charge my battery, it's finally time for everyone's favourite part of the episode. DJ, you know what to do. Cue the music. Actually, I've got an idea. We've never given our DJ a proper name, so why don't you help me out?
My fellow DJ!
Be called. If I see a name I really like, we'll make it official for the rest of the series. Right then, cue the music, and I'll see you at the main stash, survivors. Phew, that was a bit of a roller coaster. I'm glad to see you made it free in one piece though, my friend. Right then, let's get stuck into the main stash. We've still got a long journey back home after Trader Jen and it's starting to get late, so let's make this quick. First up, in the food pile, we found some flowers to sell and a few extra food rations. Every dupe counts at the moment, so I'll happily take the extra flowers. Next, we opened the leather trunk, and this was a pretty good haul. We found another sledgehammer book. We've already read this one, but it's still good to sell for a couple dukes. We also picked up a blueberry pie, a chain mod, a pair of new shoes, and some shotgun shells. Moving on to the working stiffs crate, we scored another Forge Ahead magazine along with a lockpick. That's another one step closer to unlocking the crafting stations we need. Finally, we checked the popping pills crate where we found some aloe cream, painkillers and a first aid bandage. Not a bad little medical haul to finish things off. Right then, survivors, let's hightail it back to Trader Jen. I really don't fancy getting caught out on the road tonight, especially with the trip back to base still ahead of us. For my reward,
Wow,
I decided
I
to take the pipe
didn't
bombs.
think you
With
had it
Horde
in
Night
you.
getting closer
Good
and
job.
closer, they definitely come in handy when it's time to hold off the zombies. Next, I picked up another tier 2 quest, this time at the Hybrid Energy substation. Hopefully, I'll be able to tackle that tomorrow, depending on how late we end up working on the Horde base. Base construction is the priority in there, but if we finish early enough, there's no reason we can't squeeze
Remember
in another
me
rate.
if you need medical
With
supplies.
all that sorted, it's time to head back home, unload today's loot and get ready for another busy day tomorrow. I'll meet you back at the base,
I've got a bit of
survivors.
a problem. Do hurry. I have a...
So with the sun starting to disappear over the horizon, that brings us to the end of another busy day. But before I get ready for some nighttime shenanigans, let's take a look at today's magazine haul and spend our skill points. Then we'll go over what we've managed to achieve and the plan for tomorrow. Starting with the magazines, we ended up having a fantastic haul today. We collected 2 sledgehammer books, which means we can now craft ourselves an iron sledgehammer. A massive upgrade for our main weapon. We also picked up 2 sniper books, 3 electrical trap magazines, 2 shotgun mags, 2 more tools digests, and 4 armor ups. This is a huge step forward because we can now start crafting iron tools and making some much needed armor upgrades before Horde Night arrives. Now, let's spend those skill points. For the 3 points we earned today, I decided to put 1 point into big and fast to improve our movement and stamina, and the remaining 2 points went into minus 69er. This will help us gather resources much faster, which is going to be extremely important with the Horde base construction starting. So what did we achieve today? Well, I'd say it was a very successful day. We completed all of our main goals, made it over to Trader Jen, completed some quests and collected a huge amount of useful magazines that will help us progress even further. With Horde Night getting closer and every single upgrade matters, and today was definitely a step in the right direction. With that said, friends, if you've enjoyed today's episode, I would really appreciate if you could leave a like, drop a comment and consider subscribing to the channel. Your support means a lot and helps the series continue to grow. I look forward to braving the apocalypse with you again tomorrow. Stay safe, survivors.